All right. Hello and good morning, everyone. My name is Samantha Lay, and I am the President and CEO of the Seattle Southside Chamber of Commerce. And on behalf of the Chamber and Explore Seattle Southside, it's truly an honor to welcome you all here today. We're so excited to bring together such a diverse and talented group of leaders, partners, and stakeholders for this important meeting. And as we look ahead to FIFA 2026 hosted here in Seattle, the opportunities to enhance our region's economic and infrastructural landscape are enormous. Today's discussions will play a vital role in aligning our efforts, ensuring we are fully prepared to make the most of these opportunities. FIFA provides us with a unique platform to showcase everything that makes our region so special. But with this opportunity comes with the responsibilities to plan strategically and ensure that our local businesses and communities are well prepared. As we dive into today's agenda, we'll focus on how to engage our hospitality industry, communicate key timelines, and provide small businesses with the data and details they need to thrive during this time. We're so fortunate to have an expert in economic impact analysis who will present the projected impact and benefits of the FIFA events, as well as hearing from key stakeholders who will share valuable updates on airport operations, transit, and security planning to help guide our overall readiness. I'm confident that with the insights and collaboration we gain from today's meeting, it will help us take a significant step forward in building a unified, impactful plan. Centralizing our information is crucial to this process, and having a single plan, and having a single reliable source of data and communication ensures that our businesses, hospitality industries, government, and community partners stay aligned and informed. It helps us reduce confusion and enables us to quickly respond and efficiently when needed. As we move forward, collaboration will be key. So today's meeting is a chance for us to come together, share insights, and develop a comprehensive plan that ensures a successful experience for our visitors, local businesses, and residents alike. Before we begin, I'd like to thank each of you for your time and participation today. Your input is invaluable to us in helping us shape a future that benefits our entire region. At the end of this program, there will be ample opportunities for questions and answers, and so we want to ask you to please hold your questions for the designated Q&A time. And now it's my honor to pass the virtual mic to our co-host today, Megan McGuire, our Senior Vice President of Business Development at Explore Seattle Southside. Thank you again, and Megan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sammy. So as the tourism marketing organization for Seattle Southside, we work very closely with our tourism-related businesses in the area, the hotels, the attractions, the restaurants, sports venues, and we've been hearing from them a bit of misinformation about FIFA and what to expect, and some desire to know more about what's going to happen. So we wanted to provide an opportunity to fill that vacuum of information by offering a series of meetings to update folks on the key elements, what facilities will be utilized for training or FIFA-associated events, what public safety measures will take place, public transportation, et cetera. And we're so thankful for Sammy for putting this together. When we approached her with this idea, she was able to pull everyone together and was extremely helpful to have. It's extremely helpful to have her leading this charge. Secondarily, or maybe primarily from our standpoint as marketers, we want to make sure folks understand that 2026 is just around the corner. Our restaurants, hotels, and attractions need to be putting together their plans now for the influx of tourists that will be descending upon our region. There will be a desire for places to watch games, gathering places, and events to celebrate the games. I'm attending NTA in November, which is a sales convention where I meet with tour operators. And these tour operators are planning to bring tour groups to attend these games. They want to make plans now for where they can take their group when they're not at the game. So we need to have those plans in place early. So that was the impetus of these meetings. We plan to hold regularly. And during this session, I will be introducing 5 representatives who have the most knowledge about what's going to happen in the area. First, I would like to introduce Explore Seattle Southside sports expert, Sydney Marks Nichols. Sydney manages our Seattle Southside Sports Alliance, which is a newly launched subset of our organization that brings together every sports facility in Seattle Southside to collaborate on further developing sports opportunities in the area. Sydney's also a commissioner with the Seattle Sports Commission, so she will have the most recent information that the organization shares. Sydney?
Good morning. Thank you, Megan, for the introduction, and thank you, Sammy, for bringing us all together. Like Megan said, I am the sports gal for Explore Seattle Southside and the newly launched Seattle Southside Sports Alliance. But really what I see my role as it pertains as to why we're here today is as a champion and advocate for FIFA. And my goal is to help educate and prepare our partners and just the general individual of the Seattle Southside area on FIFA and its impacts and just the scale of what this event is. I think that as an American, I grew up watching, football and baseball, and soccer was on my radar. I grew up in Seattle with the Sounders, but I think the scope of this event is something that I have come as we've gotten closer to this event date to really realizing just how large it is and the massive impact that it will have on our region, not just as a city of Seattle, but the cities surrounding it and the state as a whole. And I really am excited about these quarterly meetings because it's a chance for us to be able to share a wealth of information about this event so that we can all be best prepared and hopefully communicate to as many individuals and businesses and hospitality partners just about how large the scale of this event is. And many of you may know, some of you may not know much about FIFA World Cup, but it is the largest global sporting event in history. It seems hard, as I said, as like an American looking at this sport. Soccer is not, or footy to other countries, is not as big of a sport for us, but it has a larger viewership than the Super Bowl and the Olympics combined. It's not only the largest global event just by the sport, it's also the largest World Cup in history with the number of teams that are participating and the number of cities and ultimately countries. It stretches across three countries. So I want to put some numbers to that to kind of give us a little bit of a grasp of just how large this is. The Super Bowl has a viewership this last year's 2023 Super Bowl of 123 million viewers. And most recently in 2024 Summer Olympics was about 30 million viewers. FIFA is predicting 2 billion views for just Seattle alone for like each given game that is taking place in the city of Seattle. So it's very large. And to bring that to the actual visitors into our city, predicting about 400 to 750,000 unique visitors to the Seattle area for these games. That means our hotels are going to be sold out from border to border. Our restaurants will be booked. Our attractions will fill. Historically, we've found that sports visitors, people who travel to visit and attend sporting games, are just a lot more engaged than your average tourist, your average visitor. Tend to stay a little bit longer, and they tend to spend more money than your average tourist. So there's just a lot of opportunity for our businesses to get involved and participate in this massive event. I think that's a really exciting proposition, a place to be, and that's why I'm so excited to have these meetings moving forward to see how we can, come together as a region and have a piece of that. And I know we all want to showcase our areas and our region the best that we can and show the visitors that just what a beautiful place we have here. And as Megan mentioned previously, I do sit as a commissioner on the Seattle Sports Commission. The CEO and president of that is also on the local organizing committee for FIFA. So constant stream of updated information. And again, I see myself as an advocate for FIFA, backing up, everything that comes from them. I just want to reiterate that we don't know all of the details yet. We will be sharing them as soon as we get them. And we will take this quarterly meetings as an opportunity to be able to do that. But we have exciting information that by the end of this month, we should know the Fan Fest details, which is the main hub for Seattle of where the biggest, largest activation in regards to the World Cup and the city of Seattle. We'll know more about that at the end of this month. And then they will announce the remaining fan zone cities and locations in spring of 25. Another piece that I think is really interesting is they're putting together a playbook, a community activation playbook on how businesses and hospitality industry and individuals can get involved with FIFA, how they're able to use the name or not use the name, how to maximize just on the number of visitors in the area, and how we can take part in being a part of this global event. And that will be released by the end of this year. And there'll be a lot of information in that playbook about how people and individuals and businesses can take part. In closing, I want to pass it off to the meat and potatoes of this presentation, but I wanted to say that we will have a dedicated page on our Seattle Southside Sports for FIFA. It will have all the information that we talk about at these meetings, recordings, contact info, future updates, that kind of thing. It is currently being constructed, but it will be ready to be launched by our general public meeting in early October. So that will house everything that we talk about, and hopefully it will be a resource for everyone to refer back to. And that is what I have to share with everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sydney. All right, next up we have Dylan Ordonez with Desimone Consulting Group, which Dylan is the local government coordinator with Seattle FWC 26, which is the organizing committee responsible for planning and executing these matches. And he will be giving us an update on FIFA.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you everybody for being here today. Appreciate you taking the time, and appreciate just this gathering. Seattle FWC 26 is a small but mighty team, but we have a very large state, and there are a lot of folks to talk to. So very grateful that that this gathering is taking place this morning, so we can share some information about 2026 and how we're planning. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and pull up this presentation, which I'm guessing some of you have seen. There will not be a test. Don't worry. I will not call on people. But we'll just do this in level set. And Sydney, thank you for touching on some of the points that I'll cover here today. Seattle skyline. We'll spare the details of the history of the World Cup, but global ritual established in 1930. It was so popular as part of the Summer Olympics. FIFA peeled it off, and that's why you have alternating every 2 years: Summer Olympics, Men's World Cup, Summer Olympics, Men's World Cup. 2022 tournament in Qatar, over 5 billion viewers reached globally. That the final was over 1.4 billion viewers, which is 7 times larger than the Super Bowl audience. And 40% bigger than the Olympics. The Paris numbers globally are still coming in, but increased viewership there. The least watched World Cup match in group stage, global viewership is over 200 million. So we are, with our 6 matches, estimating that we'll have a total of about 2 billion plus viewers looking at Seattle, Puget Sound, state of Washington for the matches that we have. This was mentioned earlier, 2026 will mark the largest tournament of any kind that's ever taken place on Earth. That's not hyperbole, it's the numbers. Previous iterations only had 32 teams. This is expanded to 48 teams across 3 host countries and 16 cities. We're 11 in the United States, Canada with 2, Mexico with 3. In our northwest corner here, you see we have Vancouver, BC. They have 7 matches, we have 6, so we have 13 total matches here in this corridor, which we're very excited about. Here's our match schedule. The tournament starts on Thursday, June 11th in Mexico City. It concludes on Sunday, July 19th with the final match in New York City. Seattle will host 6 matches, 4 group stage, 1 round of 32 and 1 round of 16. We're incredibly proud and lucky and to be hosting the U.S. men's national team for their second group stage match on June 19th, 2026. You can see that the Vancouver matches are on here as well, noted with VBC. We're thankful that FIFA kind of intentionally staggered them versus having them on the same days. There are 2 matches that occur on the same day, the 24th and 26th. In addition to Juneteenth, we have a match on Pride weekend as well. And you can see that our matches are on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and not on the weekends. Getting Washington World Cup ready. We have a little breakdown here of who's doing what. FIFA World Cup 26. So FIFA, they are responsible for running the games and the coordination across the continent. Seattle FWC 26. We are here. We are your local organizing committee. We're the lead for local planning, non-FIFA logistics, activations, fundraising, etc. We are not FIFA. We are the Seattle FWC 26 local organizing committee that is working with the city of Seattle, working with our partners across the state, and working with you all, working with FIFA to deliver these games as Seattle is a host city for 2026. We're working with governments at all levels, federal, state, and local, to provide their typical government services like transit, traffic control, law enforcement, etc. And we're working with our partners to ensure the venues are prepared, support marketing, hosting local events, etc. So the local organizing committee, here's some things that we're working on: safety and mobility. These matches, this tournament has to be safe. People have to be able to get around. So those are huge priorities for us. And Chief Diaz will talk a little bit more to safety a little later today, leading with an opportunity at this time as we're building towards this tournament to leverage good, lasting impact for our community moving forward. And you can see some of the other areas we're working on here. And pardon me, I'm just kind of flying through this because I know we have limited time and a number of speakers. Here are 6 legacy pillars: human rights, sustainability, accessibility are 3 pillars that are shared across all host cities. Those are FIFA pillars. And we have added on top to that community, culture, and children. Here's our World Cup footprint. We do believe that this is an event of statewide significance. We want to make sure that as many people as possible across the state have the opportunity to be a part of this experience. All the games will happen at Lumen Field in Vancouver and BC Place. The local organizing committee has a responsibility to provide to FIFA options for potential practice fields and potential team base camps. A practice field is where a team who's playing at Lumen will arrive match day -2, match day -1 to practice ahead of their match. A team base camp is where a team will come live beginning 2 to 3 weeks before the start of the tournament, and will live at that venue through the duration of at least group stage. And if they make it past group stage, I think they'll have the option to stay or they can relocate. But you can see the potential practice fields are Seattle University, Starfire in Tukwila, and the University of Washington. And the potential team base camps are the Sounders' new facility at Longacres in Renton, as well as Gonzaga University in Spokane. And Portland and Vancouver are in the mix as well. We are going to have fan activations. We're going to have the big Fan Fest activation in Seattle. Location TBD, more on that by the end of the month. We are also going to have fan zones across the state. We want to make sure, again, that people feel a part of this event. This is a picture from the 2022 World Cup. This is not what we're doing. It will be, that's on the new waterfront in Doha. Anyway, our 9 fan zone cities areas are going to be named next spring. That does not mean that other places won't be able to self-organize. Anywhere can organize a community gathering, a festival, etc. These are just going to be areas where we're going to have a little bit more connection to the local organizing committee. Those locations, or excuse me, site selections and operations will be determined locally. The LLC will provide minimum requirements, swag, venue dressing, and amplification of fans, and some restrictions would apply to sponsorships. So our current focus planning areas, again, safety and security, transportation, mobility. We need to make sure people are safe and that they can get around, working with our venues to ensure that they're prepared, working on fan fests and other activations and community engagement. Continuing to work towards delivering our legacy projects, working with the Ray Foundation on their goal of expanding access to play with mini pitches across the state. Previously, their goal was 26 mini pitches across the state by 2026, and they've recently announced that they're doubling that goal to 52 mini pitches by 2026. So very excited about that. We're standing up some advisory committees to help inform the work that we're doing. We want to make sure that with the 750,000 plus people that will be coming here over the course of certainly the 3 weeks of the matches in Seattle, but across that really 39-day footprint of the tournament as a whole, that folks are equipped, businesses are equipped to share in that economic opportunity. And Sydney mentioned that earlier. We're working on a small business playbook, and we want to make sure that all of the as much information in there is in there as possible to ensure that folks are planning accordingly to take advantage of that. We'll have continued activations now through 26. We did some activations this summer around the Copa tournament as well as the Olympics, and we are working on an economic impact analysis. We are also developing an app. I have never done Pokemon Go, but it is apparently something along those lines where we will incentivize people to get out and explore, as well as have some information about our region. We'll have opportunities for people to get tokens or whatever denomination in the app, and that they can then enter in to win some swag or some other prizes. So we have this opportunity and responsibility to use this moment of global focus to make lasting local progress. We are not just hosting 6 games. We are bringing the world to Washington, to Puget Sound, to Seattle, and we want to use that opportunity to make a lasting impact for future generations. So we're doing questions later. Here's our contact information, and I will wrap it up there.
Thank you, Dylan.
Yeah, no problem.
That was good information. Next up is Eric Schinfeld. He is the Senior Manager for Federal and International Government Relations with the Port of Seattle. He'll give an update on what's going on with the port, the airport, and the cruise ports. Eric?
Fantastic. Well, good morning, everyone. Thrilled to be with you. Again, my name is Eric Schinfeld. I work for Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. And as you've heard from the previous speakers, FIFA 2026 is going to be a big deal for the region, and particularly bring a ton of people to the region. And as we know, many of those people, if not most of those people, will be coming by airplane. So we are really working hard at the airport and frankly throughout the Port of Seattle to figure out how to prepare for that. And some of that is logistics, some of that is infrastructure. We've been directly in touch with the FIFA organization to coordinate on everything from bringing their employees into the airport to signage, et cetera. So I wanted to just sort of walk you through a couple of quick points, and obviously looking forward to collaborating with all of you as we make sure that we can capitalize on this opportunity, both in terms of providing that great welcoming experience, accommodating these travelers, and giving them a really great impression of our region. I wanted to start really briefly. I'll just fly through this here, no pun intended, talking about where we are at the airport right now. Fully recovered from the coronavirus pandemic. We were at 51.8 million passengers in 2019, obviously significantly less than that in 2020, but we will exceed 2019 passenger levels this year at the airport. And that is particularly notable because not all of the countries that we serve, particularly China, have fully recovered. Not all of the major corporate travel that we have experienced in the past has come back, particularly the tech corporate travel. So a lot of this is leisure travel, or as we call it in the industry, bleisure travel, where people are combining work and leisure travel. And we're seeing obviously a return as well of our air cargo business to pre-pandemic levels, actually lower than during the pandemic. As you remember, you all bought a bunch of stuff online that you no longer have to do. And so we saw a lot of air cargo, but certainly a lot of those air cargo flights as well. One of the really exciting things about what's happened to the airport over the past few years is that we actually have more international service than we did before the pandemic. During the pandemic, were the airport in the country that had the most new international flights announced. And so this was actually the beginning of the year, 48 international services to 31 international destinations. We're actually now closer to 40 international destinations. And I show you this not just to talk about how busy the airport is, but specifically knowing that folks will be coming in from all over the world to see these matches. We're going to be able to provide a level of connectivity that even 5-10 years ago, we had less than half of these destinations. So a pretty big deal. And obviously all of the domestic connections that we have as well. As a side note, besides the fact that we're connected to all of these cities around the country, most of those are on Alaska and Delta. About 3/4 of our flights are Alaska and Delta, as a side note there. These are some of the new international flights that we have launched over the past few years, and you'll notice obviously a lot of those are places where we do expect folks to be coming in from for some of these World Cup matches. Some of the ones that we're most excited about are ones that are just launching. We launched, for example, this summer 3 separate new flights to Taipei, Taiwan. So we now actually have 5 flights to Taipei on 4 different carriers, EVA Air in addition to Delta, Starlux, and China Air. And then this October, so just next month, we will be launching our first ever flight directly to Manila in the Philippines, which is a huge opportunity. Washington State has the 4th biggest concentration of Filipino Americans in the country. So that'll be a huge opportunity. And again, another major connection point.
Eric, I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Do you have a screen right now? Is there a slide that we're supposed to be?
Oh, are you not seeing my slides for some reason?
No, I'm
Were you seeing my slides?
We did for a moment, but right now it's just your background.
Huh. Well, let's try one more time. I unshared and I will share again. All right, can you see my slides now?
Yes.
Great. So let's get back to where I was. I was talking about this slide here. Can everybody see that fully?
Yes.
Maybe? Great.
Yes.
Sorry about that. So anyway, I was just saying we're continuing to add flights. We'll add Manila this fall, and then next summer we'll be adding Zurich. So again, just as a way to share that we are really more and more connected, which will be a fantastic opportunity for people who want to come to our region to view these matches. Anyone who's been to the airport recently has noticed probably that it is under construction. Every nook and cranny and corner is under construction at the airport right now. And part of the reason for that, besides the fact that we're trying to build to meet all of that demand we're seeing right now, is that we made the decision to do all of our major capital projects now so that they will be done by 2026. So short-term pain, long-term gain. We are ripping off the Band-Aid to get this all done. And we're really excited about that because we're going to have just a better experience for everybody coming in and out of the airport when they all come for World Cup. We'll have a new checkpoint 1, with an expanded number of lanes. Our new C concourse expansion, where we're adding 4 stories of dining and retail above the C concourse. Roadway improvements, those of you who have been stuck in traffic trying to just get to the curbside, we're adding 2 lanes to the arrivals drive. And then finally, the entire Alaska Airlines ticketing, bag check, and TSA related areas are all having a huge expansion, which will allow people to come through in a much more convenient way. So hopefully we will meet these timelines, we'll be done, and it'll all be beautiful and pretty at the airport as people come in and out. 2 last things I want to just call out really briefly here. Number 1 is there are a number of things that we're involved with on the waterfront side as well, because obviously the port is both the airport and the seaport. The major project that we're partnering with the city and some private funders on is called the Elliott Bay Connections Project. That is the the waterfront between Terminal 91 and downtown Pier 62. So that sort of rest of the connection for pedestrian and bike access in particular, going through both Myrtle Edwards Park and our portion of the park, which is called Centennial Park. So that's going to be all redone and beautiful in time for 2026. Like I mentioned, a number of bike lane improvements, not only related to Elliott Bay connections, but working with the city generally as well, that will go throughout Belltown along Alaskan Way there. We're a major partner with the aquarium as well to launch that pavilion, which is going to be a wonderful new amenity. And then final thing I want to call out really quickly, some of you know how busy our cruise business is. And that is a major driver of tourism and travel through the airport. It is our busiest time at the airport. So great news. We will have one of our busiest cruise seasons ever, probably our busiest cruise season ever, at the same time as 750,000 to 1 million people are also coming through the airport for World Cup. So it's going to be a big challenge. It's going to be a big challenge not only at the airport, but also downtown. Anyone who's been in the lower Queen Anne or Belltown area on a cruise day knows how much traffic and how many people are coming in and out of those cruise ships. So we're working really closely with Dylan and the local team to really figure out how we deconflict that and make the experience for our cruise travelers and our World Cup travelers as good as possible without conflict and as well as possible. Next year, we will have 302 cruise departures, which is a record. And for 2026, it could be even more. So pretty much every day of the week, we will have crews in and out, and including on those game days. There are some opportunities here, though. We have had some initial conversations about cruise ships as hotels. I was at the 2006 Super Bowl in Jacksonville, and they floated a cruise ship right down the river into downtown, and people stayed on a cruise ship. And so are there opportunities for that as well? Are there opportunities to use some of our terminals, including Terminal 46, as a viewing area, as a staging area? So we'll be having those conversations as well to make some of our maritime operations a benefit, not just a conflict for World Cup. So I will stop there. I went through those as fast as possible. Sorry about the technical difficulties, and look forward to the conversation once everyone finishes their presentations.
Thank you, Eric. Next up, Juan Higuera, who's the strategic advisor with Sound Transit, will give us a little update on what's going on with transportation.
Thank you, Megan. All right, I'm gonna try to share my screen here. Hopefully it works. All right.
Good.
You can see my screen, right? All right. So thank you everyone for attending. We're also looking forward to these updates. As you know, Sound Transit has a lot of things going on right now, and we wanted to provide an update as to our work as it relates to the FIFA World Cup. As mentioned, I'm Juan Higuera. I'm a strategic advisor within our office of the CEO, and I lead our internal coordination for the World Cup. For us as an agency, we do have a couple of goals that we're striving for as we prepare for this tournament coming to the Seattle region. We want to make sure that we're providing high quality, seamless, and convenient service, not only to those coming to the region, but also our existing riders, making it as seamless as possible for them as well. We have an internal vision of becoming as iconic as the Space Needle, Mount Rainier, and the ferries. And this tournament is going to provide that opportunity, but at a global stage, on a global stage. And so we want to make sure we are keeping that at the forefront as we engage in different planning efforts internally and externally. So you may be wondering, okay, what are we working towards? Currently, on this slide, you'll see our service assumptions of what's going to be open by the World Cup time in summer of 26. Our 1 and 2 line are going to be fully extended down to Federal Way and across the lake, and both operating north to Linwood, each at every 8 minutes. For Sounder, our existing round trips, which are 13, including 1 midday, which would serve any games during the midday. Our 4 North Line trips starting, I believe, this weekend, or actually on Monday, going up to Everett are going to start. Our SD Express buses are currently being proposed to be restructured to FeedLink. I know there's some conversations there with the board as to what that looks like ultimately. And other potential opportunities that are out there are the Northeast 130th infill station and the Sumner Station parking and access upgrades, both slated for 2026. We're trying to figure out what is the timing of those projects, where in 2026, whether they're going to be available to us before or after the World Cup. So more to come on those projects in particular. What are our focus areas internally? So we have a lot of work to prepare for this. We want to make sure that we're confirming our service levels, not only for Link, but for our Sounder and SD Express modes. We want to make sure that we're working to complete the capital projects that I mentioned earlier. We want to develop a passenger experience and communication plans in coordination, obviously, with some of you in the virtual room, including with our partners at the port. We want to confirm our approach for fares and any fare media opportunities that might be out there. We've tried a couple of things with our Orca passes, and we want to make sure we're continuing to explore how we make fares as seamless as possible for folks coming to the region. We want to make sure that we're completing any state of good repair and vertical transportation elements. I know at the SeaTac Airport Station, we're constructing a second elevator on the east side of the station, and we want to make sure that we're completing any state of good repair projects in the downtown area where people are coming to and from the game. And obviously partnering to develop a safety and security plans, as John is going to talk about next. So what are our next steps? We want to make sure that we're coordinating all of this internally over the next few months and make some prioritization and decisions on where we're going to focus more of our energy, our resources on. And we want to make sure that we're continuing to partner with the local organizing committee and with all of you to make sure we're all going to be as prepared as possible for welcoming 750,000 people to the region or thereabouts. So I know I ran through that pretty quickly. We'll take questions a little bit later, but that is a quick update on what's going on at Sound Transit for this work.
Thank you, Juan. Lastly, we have Chief John Diaz, Chief Security Officer with the Seattle FWC 26, who will give us a security update.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Could you all see me okay? I think yeah, great. And Dylan, will you start this? Thank you. I'll just go through this very briefly. A lot of you have already talked much about, well, just the size of the event. I think that's one thing that I think we all should be leaving here understanding how big of an event we're really talking about. I wanted to first just talk a little bit about what FIFA's approach is going to be for these games. They're looking at 3 countries. First time they've ever done this, where they've had it was a 3-country bid, and they're looking at it as 3 countries, 1 World Cup, and that's the approach that they're taking. What we ended up doing, so I've been with the organizing committee. I think I was their 2nd or 3rd hire, about a year and a half now. The 11 host cities from the U.S., we've all come together as a coalition to ensure that we were all working together, and we've been going to Congress and working with Homeland Security. No one wanted 11 different cities all coming from a different perspective, so we all came together as a coalition. There's a version of me in every host city. So usually it's like I'm a retired police chief and I was with the jail. Most of the places they're using some version of, somebody that's either worked at the stadium or has had a long history in law enforcement. So we've been working together on a really unified approach going back over a year and a half. We've been working very closely with the Department of Homeland Security and with FIFA, and for most of that time, we've had either weekly or every 2-week meetings with FIFA at the highest levels and with Homeland Security. One thing that I was really pleased to see is I expected the highest levels of FIFA to be part of these meetings, but from the White House's perspective, they also ensured that they had people at the highest level of Homeland Security involved. So currently the person who's kind of leading the charge from Department of Homeland Security is a person by the name of John Favors, and he is the Assistant Secretary of Counterterrorism. And before that, it was a Chief of Staff under Director Mayorkas, or Secretary Mayorkas. So I was pleased to see that has helped really kind of ensure that we're moving forward in a coordinated fashion. Dylan, could you move it to the next slide, please? Yeah, thank you. And as I said, here in Washington, we're taking a statewide approach. There's two things that we're looking at. One of them is we want to make sure that not only are we keeping a safe and secure tournament, but more importantly, Dylan talked a bit about the legacy and the leave behinds, and that's something that we're looking at from every aspect of the plan. We'll be looking at, is there any leave behinds we could do from a security standpoint that, years later, people could look back and say, here are some of the things that came from the World Cup. I wanted to talk a little bit about a SEER rating. It gets a little bit in the weeds, but I just wanted to, once again, this kind of shows the undertaking that we're looking at. What a SEER event is for, and I apologize to all the people here from law enforcement, they understand what that is, but it's a special event assessment rating. This is something that's done by the Department of Homeland Security. What they end up doing is they end up doing a survey when they have these large events, and then they give it a rating. It's a rating from 1 to 5. And to put this in perspective, a Super Bowl would be rated a level 1 SEER event. And that means that it's going to take a fair amount of resources from the federal government to help assist local government in working through the plan. For these 70 plus games that we have here in the US, they were all rated a SEER 2 event, which is basically almost the exact same thing. It's just slightly less than a SEER 1. It's, like I said, it's 1 to 5. So this is a very high rating. And only the semi and the final were rated as a Tier 1 event. But what this means is that in a very short period of time, 39 days, the federal government needs to assist 11 cities in doing basically a Super Bowl size event, for basically 39 days. So this is going to be a massive collaboration. One reason we're working so closely together. Those ratings can change based on some additional information that I think many of the other speakers have already talked about. There's things that we just don't know at this point. We know they're under negotiation for the base camps. They're under negotiations for potentially where some of the other fan activations will be here in the state, for instance. But the biggest thing that we need that really will decide if how difficult or how much more challenging it may be will be which countries are going to be in which groups, and that won't be decided until probably December or January, or December of 25 most likely is when that actually comes up. And that's just based on countries are right now working to try to become part of the tournament, but the actual draw won't happen until the end of 25. So we have to make the assumption that we're going to be looking at some very popular teams that are probably going to be playing here. I'm looking at the assumptions that we have one of the nicest base camps, probably the nicest base camp in the country. So I think some very popular teams will also be bidding to use that as their base camp. So once again, those are just issues that we'll be working through. Dylan, could you go to slide 2, please? And so what's been going on for the last several months has been, as I said, we've been working with FIFA, we've been working with the federal government, working through what the governance structure is. You have some very large bureaucracies that are involved. You have FIFA, that very large bureaucracy. We have the federal government. We're trying to work through who's in charge of what different aspects of that, and that's being worked through, and it's we're getting pretty close to working through that. FIFA set up 17 work groups, and what these work groups were basically, if you could look at them as lines of business. So it's things like transportation. There's one on the airport. There's one on fan festival venues, health and medical, intel, things along those lines, crowd control. So there's 17 work groups, and what they did is they brought in all 16 cities. So both Canada and Mexico were involved in this. And what we've been working through is coming up with what the minimum standards need to be in all those 17 work streams. That's moving on to in Atlanta next month, early next month. All the cities are meeting. We're going to work through those 17 work streams. They'll come out with a basic minimum standards of what's expected for your operations plan. So when we walk out of there, two things will happen. We'll have that government structure squared away. We'll also have a concept of operation of what our plans all need to look like. Once again, with the idea that the fan experience will be fairly similar between all three countries with all 104 games. And if you go to the last slide, please. So let me tell you a little bit of how this has all been working out. So FIFA hired a chief of security for the entire games for all three countries. It's a person by the name of GB Jones. That was, I think, a very good pick for us here in the U.S. GB Jones comes from, he was a police officer, he was a state trooper, and then he was a career FBI agent. And then for several years, he's been with the NFL. That's been very helpful because he understands the systems that the U.S. works through. He understands how we have to work through those systems. And he's been really good to work with. He knows the stadium very well. And I think that's been very helpful. The next phase of that, he's also hired three coordinators for the U.S. So we have a West Coast, Central, and East Coast coordinator. Ours is a gentleman by the name of David Burris, and so his job is to work with all the cities that he has. So he has the three cities he has is Seattle, San Francisco, and LA. Once again, he has a lot of experience in working with venues. He knows this stadium very well, and that's been very helpful for us. What he'll end up doing is he's going to end up hiring people for each of the venues in three areas. One of them is going to be in intelligence. One's going to be working with the stadium. And then the third is called non-competition area. So basically everything that isn't a stadium, that person will be involved in that. And those are things like working on hotel security, team-based camps, those kind of things. What's helpful for us is he's looking to hire locally. He wants people that understand and know these venues quite well. So it's going to be helpful for us because that's going to help us expand our team. Along the same lines, now the federal government, they do the same thing. Now that we have a SEER rating, that gives them license to then they will nominate a team of agents or a team of individuals from various federal agencies to be part of the planning effort. And we should be getting the names of those people pretty soon. We've already been working quite closely with CISA, which is a cybersecurity agency, and they've been part of my planning team from the very beginning. So lastly, what I just wanted to just talk about is that as we've been starting to build this out, we really have tried to expand it to ensure that the state's been involved. We've been working really closely with the state emergency management, working very closely with Seattle Police Department and with, as I said, people like CISA and other emergency management groups. This is going to be a massive collaboration requirement for this to be pulled off. It's going to take incredible amount of resources. There will be an ask at a certain point for mutual aid for a variety of different agencies. So, but that's one reason that we've gotten the state involved early. So as we start working through the plan, we could start then talking to some of the other agencies. So what's going to happen between now and the end of the year is once we come back from this meeting in Atlanta, we'll start putting some more detailed numbers together of what we think the expectations are. So we're going to look at what are the resources required, and that's working closely with the various entities that I talked about. Then we're going to see what we actually have, and then see what that now, and then do a gap analysis and see, okay, where is the delta there? And then this is when we'll start coming and asking for assistance from a variety of different agencies. So once again, I've been very honored to be part of this working group. The people involved throughout the state, people are very used to working large events like this, and I have total confidence they're going to do it extremely well. I work out of Lumen Field, so I'm talking to the head of security for Lumen almost on a daily basis. I feel that we're going to be able to do a very safe event, and really, as I said, our biggest hope is that not only is it a safe event, but really that we pass on a legacy of various whether it's technology or equipment or other things that we could be as a lead behind for future events. So that's all I have now. I see that Dylan has put up my information, so I'd like you to feel free to give me a call if you have any questions or concerns in the future. So thank you.
Thank you, John. As all the speakers emphasize, this is going to be big. It's a huge undertaking. It's wonderful to hear from these folks who are anticipating the needs of the attendees, dealing with the bureaucracy, keeping everyone safe, focusing on how to best present the Seattle region to the world. So thank you for all your work on this, Sydney, Dylan, Eric, Juan, and Chief Diaz. I'm going to hand it back to Samantha for Q&A.
Perfect. Thank you, Megan. So we do have a few minutes for Q&A. If anybody is interested in asking our panelists a question, please feel free to raise your hand now. I see Peter.
Thank you, Sammy, and all of you for putting this together. This has been really helpful for those of us who are kind of just getting involved. I'm a consultant to the city of Des Moines on their marina activation, and I have two questions. I'll ask the first one, and if there's time for the second one, I'll come back to that. We just heard from former Chief Diaz about the security that's required for this event, and it seems enormous, and that comes with a cost. Can you all talk a little bit about where the funding for all of this is going to come, what FIFA pays for, what other funding sources are, what local jurisdictions are responsible for?
Well, why don't I go ahead and take a stab at that? And it's a very important question, and one that we've been working on concurrently. A couple of things. So FIFA does pay for a number of things through their rental agreements they're working through. They'll be paying for on the security side. I'm only going to be talking about the security side at this point. They pay for that infrastructure within the secure perimeter, and that's what we're working through now. They do the same thing at the team base camps and at the training sites. They're required to do everything within the secure perimeter. And as I said, they'll work that through a rental agreement with the various entities. Why we're working, the need for us to work so closely with the federal government is that there's so many different areas where we're going to need their expertise and their resources. Things like, let's talk about, bomb dogs, working on drone mitigation, things like that. That will be things that we will ask and expect that the federal government will pay for some of those special teams that we bring into these various areas. Now, that still leaves a huge number of people that we're going to be looking to and agencies that will be looking to get reimbursed. And so concurrently, Dylan, and then we have April Putney, who many of you know, she's our Chief Strategy Officer here for the local organizing committee. She's also an expert in government relations, and she's been working with the other host cities and working with Congress to work through that aspect of how this is going to get paid. Now, I can't tell you now how that's going to go. I just know that there's a really intense effort to work on that, and that we do have people in Congress that are very supportive of working through this. And I think at the end of the day, I'm sure there'll be some assistance. I just don't know what that will be at this point.
Thank you, John.
And I'll jump in and just add that it's kind of at a broader level. It's going to take all hands on deck approach, at least from our perspective on raising funds for this public private. The majority of our funding is going to be from the private sector, and we're working to secure commercial sponsors. But as John noted, there are going to be some asks of government on security, transportation, and other things. As I noted in my presentation, governments at all levels performing, duties that governments perform. So I think just in anticipation of more people here, just keep that in mind. And then I know that some other cities who are thinking about what they may want to do for their own activations are considering either on their own building that into their own budgets, or looking at their LTAC dollars or some other similar funding where some kind of activation could be applicable.
Thank you, Dylan. I see Hugo Garcia has a question.
Thanks. I appreciate the presentation. I guess it's for the security for the chief. Recently, there was a big international tournament in Miami at one of the venues that's going to host a World Cup match. It was an international game for Copa America, and there was a debacle or disaster in the organizing of the entrance to the stadium. I think thousands of fans were left outside without tickets or with tickets, because some people rushed into the stadium and destroyed a lot of parts of the stadium. Has there been any visits by the committee or anybody from here to that stadium to take away and learn about what went wrong for that particular tournament? And just to ensure residents here that that's something that won't happen here.
Yes, Hugo, great question. And it was the Copa, and what Hugo's talking about is what occurred at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. It was helpful that some of the FIFA people at the highest levels of FIFA and GB Jones were at that game, so they got to see it from in real time. There's also been issues that along this summer that have occurred at the Paris Olympics, that have occurred at the Euro tournament and at the Champions League tournament. All that is this meeting we're having in October. They've been working through an after action of the things that went right, the things that went wrong, and that's something that's going to be incorporated into the plan. I was on the phone with GB the very next day, and he was talking to all the other cities, because we were all asking the same question that you're asking, Hugo. Is there going to be an after action, and what are the steps that are being taken? So it's being actively looked at. I know that some things have changed in FIFA's minds and our minds on things that we needed to do a bit differently. So we will certainly incorporate the lessons learned for this tournament.
Great
Thanks.
question. Thank
Thank
you. So we are at time, and I want to respect everyone's time. I will follow up with everyone after the meeting today, providing contact information for all of our panelists so that you can reach out to them directly with any additional questions that you may have. We will also be sharing the recording from today's event, so you all have the presentations as well as the presentation slides themselves. So you can share that with your team. I want to thank everyone for joining us today, taking time to hear our presentation and the impact that FIFA 2026 will have on our region. Thank you for engaging to help us enhance the experience for the main event that will be coming here soon. And thank you again to our speakers for joining us today, providing your insights. It is tremendously helpful to convene. And again, please look out for future meetings. We are going to host quarterly meetings, and they will become even more and more informative as we get more details from FIFA themselves. Other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day and take great care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Sammy.
Bye.